Okay, this video is a tutorial to help you with making maps and vectors. And you can see that what we're going to do, or at least what the goal is that we want to have a map that shows the kind of horizontal and vertical vectors from your home to the school. And we're then going to find the resultant and be able to use Pythagorean's theorem and some trig to provide the magnitude and the direction of that vector. So here's how we go through and start this. We're going to just go into our Google Maps app. So under our apps, we go down here to the Google Map one. And it's going to load up, and it should say here that we can say My Maps. And where it says My Maps, we're going to click on that. And now we're going to create a new map. So I just click on the Create. And we're going to get started by putting some pinpoints on here. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to put the two locations on my map. So I'm going to start by putting in my home location. So I'm just typing in my address, and I'm going to let Google find it for me. And it'll drop a pin right there on my house. And now that pin needs to be added to my map. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my map. Now there are some things that we can do, like we can do some modifications. So if you ever wanted to use this as a tool to kind of create maps for people or do routes for deliveries, you can go ahead and make some changes and give the details. I'm just going to go through and look at some of the other icons. And so I'm going to say that this is where I park my car. Okay, so this is where I start. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and rename this. So I want to rename this as my home. And you can see that it's added this to our map now. So you can see the home is there. All right, I'm going to close that one out. And I'm going to add my next point. And that's going to be the school. And the school's address is 877 Bison Boulevard. Okay. And there you can see it dropped a pinpoint on there. We're going to do the same thing, add that pinpoint to the map. Maybe I want to change the color of this one instead. We want to make it a nice purple color. So there was our school. Okay. And now I'm just going to back up so I can see both of my pinpoints. So I'm going to zoom back out here. And it's good that you can get it so you can see both of your pinpoints, because we're going to start to try to draw some lines in here. Okay. To draw a line, we're going to switch tools. So you can see there's the select tool, that's the add a pin tool, and then this is our draw line tool. And I'm just going to add a line, and I'm going to start at my home. Okay, and I'm clicking and dragging, and I'm going to try to make this a horizontal vector. And you can see that it's going into the westward direction. I'm going to try to stop right where I think I'm directly south of the school. And I'm going to click it twice so that it actually allows me to put the name in there. I'm going to call this my west vector. Right? And I'm going to click save on that. You can see that it does tell me exactly how long that vector is. So if I were to go directly west, 16.3 miles, that's where I would be. We'll do the same thing, but now this time we're going to go from, in my case, the north vector. So I'm going to just click and drag up to the school. And this is going to be my north vector. Now, if I did everything well, and this is going to be our check on this, is I have two legs of a right triangle. So you can see how it's going to form the right triangle. And we want to determine what that hypotenuse is. So we're going to drop the line in here that's going to connect this to show my resultant. But we should be able to use Pythagorean's theorem to come up with a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And that's our 16.3 in my case squared plus 9.53 squared. And when I take the square root of that, that should be how long my vector is. Okay? And I should be able to do that quick here. Let me type that up into my calculator. So my numbers again were my west vector 16.3 plus 9.52, minus 0.53 squared equals, and then I'm going to take the square root of that. So I'm expecting it to come out to be about 18.9 miles, right? We're going to go ahead and drop our last line in here. This is going to be my resultant. So I'm going to start on this end of my home, and I'm going to go to the school. And this is going to be, again, called my resultant vector. Okay, and the line actually came out to be 19 miles, which is good because I did expect it to come out to be 18.8 or 18.9. So we're pretty good. Maybe we were just off a little bit about how we made our right angle. But there's our 3 lines. Now the next thing we want to do is include the angle. Okay, so I want to actually get an angle of this, and I'm going to use my trig functions to do that. So I know that this is my side opposite my angle. This is the side adjacent to my angle. So I'm going to use the tangent function to find the degrees of my angle. So I'm going to do the side opposite. I need to select that again. So it's 9.53 divided by my side adjacent, 16.3. And I'm going to do an inverse tangent of that. So this is a 30.3 degree angle. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give my map a title. So I'm going to click on this, and this is my home to school for my name. And now in the description, I'm going to say what my resultant was. So my resultant came out to be 18.9 miles at 30.3 degrees. Now when we describe that angle, we have to describe that angle based on the direction that we went. So we went west first and then north. So we are now north of west. So I call that north of west for my angle. Okay? And right now we've got that, so I can see what the resultant is that you calculated. I see your triangle that you were utilizing. If your triangle came out because you live like either directly north or south or east or west of the school, go ahead and pick a new place where you want to live and then do it so that it gives you a nice triangle to work with. Anyways, after you're done with that, the last thing you need to do is you got to click the share button and make sure that you share it with me so that you can get your exit out of the activity. All right, and thank you. And if you have any questions, see me later.